Patch review. There's nothing quite like a good old patch to get the juices flowing. I got myself a cup of tea. Let's go and have a nice sit down about the patch and take a look at what there is to have in 2.3 Wolfe. That's right. My god, 2.3 Wolfe and Ancient Relics are on their way. June 4th, they're gonna land and well, let's see what we have. Relics of the past. A large amount of the base game has been reworked as Relic. We got the addition of Arcology, and sectors have been redesigned. Planet designations and mega structures have been tweaked. Let's dive right in, shall we? Version 2.3.0. Ancient Relics, we'll skip over that because that's for a separate video. And let's go to the free features because, let's be honest, that is what you are interested in. Prior content, Relic Rework. Many things from previous content has been reworked as Ancient Relics. Amongst others, we can get the Isolated Contingency Core or the Praetorian Brood Queen as simple symbols of your triumph. And on top of that, I believe there is the Unbidden Warlock and a whole bunch of other things as well. So, very exciting. I'm really looking forward to, rip those apart to see what they actually do. Sector redesign. Sectors have been greatly improved in 2.3. I'll be the judge of that, allowing the player more control on how they are formed, as well as giving more robust automation tools to let themselves run. If you want to focus on the bigger picture, we'll definitely do a separate video on the sector redesign and automation once I get my hands on the expansion. I'm really looking forward to that one and, get my hands dirty and dive right in on the automation features and the designation and the sector stuff. Aside from the Dev Diary, we don't really have a lot of information as of right now, and a couple of the streams as well. So, a lot of modular stuff being thrown in there with like sector capitals and stuff like that. Planet designations. You can now choose to manually set planet designation. So basically, if you want to have an agri world, if you have a tech world, if you want to have a forge world, etc., and then the game will automatically build that world up if you set it to automated build. So that's kind of cool. And focusing production on different resource output. And there's also a stockpile. So basically you can set a certain amount of resources a month aside, and then the automated worlds will use resources from that stockpile in order to build the things that you want. And the megastructures. Oh my lord, the megastructures. I've been so psyched for this. So, they don't actually talk about this in this one. Habitats gain different effects based on type of celestial body they inhabit. So they actually did go ahead with that. And ring worlds gain specialized, highly efficient districts. What they haven't actually said is that a lot of the megastructures that come with Utopia as well as Megacorp no longer fall under the Ascension perk. So right now, if the Galactic Wonder Ascension perk is activated, you will get access to the Ring World, I believe the Dyson Sphere, and the Matter Decompressor, and all the other ones are tech options. And that really, really changes the game. So it's having them as rare tech options makes A's technological ascendancy so much better. And on top of that, not having to go for this particular Ascension perk is kind of good, even though they have boosted the Dyson Sphere and the Matter Decompressor quite significantly, and those will be listed further on in the patch notes. Other stuff, 2.3 is now a 64-bit application. Support for 32 bits has been depreciated, but you can roll back to 2.2 if you want to continue playing. So for that 1% of users, or less than 1% of users, that were still using a 32-bit system, if you want to continue playing, that would be a good time to update to a 64-bit application. So yeah, sorry XP users, but your time has come to an end, I'm afraid. Precursors no longer spawn in pre-selected pie slices of the galaxy. So for you, if you have been following me for quite some time, you know that if you spawn in a certain part of the galaxy, you are guaranteed to get a certain precursor. This is no longer the case in 2.3, as you will be randomly assigned one of the 7, if you have the Ancient Relics expansion, precursors. So that is the Baul and the Zeroni from the expansion, plus the 5 other ones. So that's exciting stuff. Added a menu option at the start of the game to disable Caravaneer fleets if you don't want those sweet, sweet deals. Man, Caravaneer fleets What can we say about those guys? They sometimes give good stuff. Hey, you want a Caravaneer cruiser and be completely OP at the start of the game? Sure, I'll buy that for 7,500 energy. No biggie. What I don't know, however, for those of you that don't know, if Caravaneers are active, if you have Megacorp in 2.2, you no longer get the Galactic Nomads. So I'm wondering if you turn off Caravaneer fleets that the Nomads are back. So that's a bit of a question. Added randomized button when naming planets. Alright. And rogue servitors can now build a variant of leisure districts on habitats to entertain their bio trophies in space. Alright. I don't, like, I never play with rogue servitors. I don't think I've ever played with rogue servitors, aside from maybe 5 minutes when Synthetic Dawn came out back in the day. I really should do it at some point. I really should play with rogue servitors. Apparently they're really good, really fun to play with. I very rarely play with robots these days, actually, come to think of it. It's all purifiers and tech-based ones. But yeah. Alright, balance. So, bigly one here. Balance is always good. We had a video about that in the past. Balance for fun. Nerfing bad, boosting good. And there is some boosting, I'll tell you that. Thrall worlds can now build energy grids and mineral purification plants. So no longer will your thralls be working in the mines before they go off to war. And they can also work in the energy grids and mineral purification plants. So that's good. No mention about whether or not they can build the advanced version of them. I would assume so, but yeah. I can't check at the moment, sadly. Terraforming no longer rerolls districts, blockers, and unique deposits. So whatever you terraform, that's what you keep. I think that's fair. The Vor Technocracy pre-scripted empire is now fanatic materialist, authoritarian. This is my kind of guys right there. This is one that I actually, this is a funny one. I actually requested this myself. Technocracy Civic now requires fanatic materialist ethics because it kind of makes sense. If you're a fanatic materialist empire, would you not want to run a technocracy? Like, if you're even like a little bit of materialistic, like a little bit into the science, would you really want to run a technocracy instead of a meritocracy? Yeah, I think there's a tweet about it somewhere. I should really dig that one up. Rebalance the worm in waiting to make it more of a real threat. And that only has to do with the fact that you can kill the worm in waiting if you don't take the final decision to turn into, well, conscripts of the worm in waiting. So this is purely for Horizon Signal. The worm in waiting has been boosted quite significantly. So that's something you want to be on the watch out for, especially if you roll it fairly early in the game, and then all of a sudden your home system has a giant worm in the middle that tries to eat everything, so be careful about that one. Habitats can now build food processing buildings, research lab, commercial zones, and hollow theaters. My god, Habitats needed a boost. I swear, Habitats were so underpowered in 2.2. They really fell off the pedestal after that update. In 2.0 they were great, but it looks like they have had a significant boost in 2.3. I'm really looking forward to do a deep dive into Habitats to make them more useful, especially considering they're no longer behind an Ascendancy perk, which means that you can build them right off the bat. Voidborn now adds, I believe, additional districts to Habitats. So if you want to specialize on Habitats, then you can take the Ascension perk, but in other times you can just build them. So that's cool. Adjusted cost for clearing Arcology blockers. This is a straight up nerf for Felhabanis and the First League. So for those of you who don't know, if you roll the First League pre-Cursor Empire, you will have access to Felhabanis, which is a Arcology world or an Ecumenopolis very early on in the game, when you probably should not be having an Arcology world. So yeah, having the cost increase on the removing of the blocker tiles is probably a huge deal. It's not nearly as powerful as as it was before. Now this is a very interesting one. I'm very curious how this is going to work, and once the patch drops, I'm going to dive into the code to see what it actually does. Habitats built over rare deposits now gain the associated deposits. That means that, at least as it was in the Death Diary that came out back when, is that habitats that are built over, for instance, mineral places or research places, they will get special districts to use those materials. Whether or not that is still in there is a bit of a question. I'm really curious on how that is going to work. But habitats really, like I mentioned before, have seen a significant boost over their previous incarnation. So that's really cool. I'm really looking forward to see how I can abuse that to the most biggest extent. Mastery of Nature Ascension perk requirement has now been reverted and can once again be picked as the first slot. Mastery of Nature it's probably been the Ascension perk that's been overhauled the most in the game. Initially, it would give you all the tile blocker technologies for free. I think now it gives you a reduction in cost and also increases the amount of districts on your planet, or gives you rare districts. I never pick it. I really never pick it. I don't think it's that great. But we'll see. We'll do a tier listing of Ascension perks once we get our hands on it. Ecumenopolis District now require a rare resource built, 50 of something, and upkeep of 2. So it's going into the direction of the more advanced buildings. So the advanced buildings in the game right now, you will need a certain amount of rare resources, and they have an upkeep cost in rare materials, whether or not it's gas or whether or not it's crystals or motes or anything along those lines. And again, this is just a straight up nerf to Ecumenopoli. Was it necessary? I think so. Ecumenopolis was pretty much a de facto #1 choice that you wanted to pick. They are just so powerful, especially with their forges, because the sheer amount of alloys that you can churn out with that crazy thing is just beyond belief. Extremely powerful, extremely good, and you should definitely get an Ecumenopolis as soon as you can. Low habitability now reduces pop growth and job output per 0.5% of missing habitability. It's a bit of a nerf to the good old colonize anything. So there's a strategy that you can do, I've never actually shown it, where you colonize every single planet that you can find and then use them as pop growth areas and then resettle them to where you need them, because there is parallel pop growth, so why wouldn't you use population growth on another planet to supplement pop growth on other worlds using resettlement? So this right here is a slight nerf to that, in my opinion. Whether or not that was intentionally to be like that is a whole different question. But yeah, pop growth is now being reduced slightly on these worlds. Pops are everything, so I guess it kind of makes sense. Gaia world terraforming has been reduced in time from 7,200 days to 3,600 days. So from 20 years to 10 years. And the cost has been reduced. This is a boost to Gaia worlds. Gaia worlds are more easy to get. Too bad you need to get an Ascension perk to actually do it. That's a bit of a shame. Matter decompressor site alloys cost increase from 3,000 to 5,000 to be consistent with other sites. Makes perfect sense. I believe it was the cheapest one of the bunch, actually. And the matter decompressor by itself, probably one of the more powerful ones to get up with the Dyson Sphere. Free minerals is always good. And they have boosted it, and it's right over here. We'll get to that shortly. Architectural Renaissance Unity Ambition, which is one of the Unity ambitions, obviously. Now also increases megastructure build capacity +1. Oh my god. That is amazing. Okay. I was under the impression this would be part of the Ascension perk, but they've made it part of the Unity ambition instead. Just a little bit of a background on this one. So you can't build more than one megastructure in parallel with each other unless it's a gateway. And there's been quite a lot of chat about that from people asking, hey, can we build more megastructures in parallel, please? And then they went with the Mega Engineers Ascension perk initially, I believe, from the Dev Diary. But now it's part of the Architectural Renaissance Unity ambition, which is very late game. This is not going to have any impact unless you rush the the Ascension tech. So that just means that tech rushing is just still incredibly powerful. Especially if you can get the Unity ambition early on. My god, that is amazing. Now we get to the big boys. So Dyson Sphere and Matter Decompressor are still locked behind Galactic Wonders, but they have been boosted significantly. The Dyson Sphere has been quadrupled in power. Yes, quadrupled in power. The first tier of the new Dyson Sphere outputs as much energy as the last tier in the 2.2 build. And maxed out, it will generate 4,000 energy. 4,000 energy is insanity. My god, 4,000 energy, that's so much. Sure, it's in the past you could easily get 1,000 energy by building districts and worlds, and it's a full-on boosts. Do Dyson Spheres have any impact in the game? By the time you build one, it shouldn't, and it just allows you to steamroll even harder. But still, my god, 4,000 energy. And Matter Decompressor mineral output has been doubled from 250 at start to 500, and from 1,000 to 2,000 at the end. That's a hefty investment of alloys right there for minerals that you can, I guess, just get from worlds that have a lot of mineral districts on them. So that's basically any of the cold worlds, I guess. The cold worlds in general have all the minerals on them, whereas all the hot, dusty worlds have all the energy, and then the wet worlds have all the food on them. At least that's how the game rolls its district distribution. Consolidated placement rules for most megastructures, so they are no longer inconsistent. I have no idea what this means. So I guess this has more to do with the fact that I can only build around a planet, can only build around a star, or something along those lines. Let me have a quick sip of tea here. Spiff be willing. That was the good stuff. A little bit of Earl Grey here on a nice Thursday afternoon. Interstellar assembly now costs energy and upkeep instead of consumer goods. Restoration cost alloy has been reduced from 20k to 15k. Never built the interstellar assembly because I'm way too busy enslaving and purging. So I guess that's nice. Ooh, the mining drone home base now also drops a strange device. Yes. There's a relic attached, I think, to the mining drone home base. That's cool. Gestalt races now also benefit from increasing the flow of dark matter from the dimensional portal. Cool. Rogue Servitors now start with another Nexus districts. Okay, never played Rogue Servitors, but sure. So yeah, the Galactic Wonder no longer immediately unlocks the ability to build Ringworld, Matter Decompressor, and Dyson Sphere, but you get them as research options, so you get them even later, which means they're even more useless. Picking life seeded will no longer grant neighboring Gaia worlds, but rather randomize starting planet class. So this was a bug, specifically with the Sol system start, where if you picked life seeded and had the guaranteed habitable worlds tick box enabled, you would get Gaia worlds surrounding your starting system. So if you want to try this one out, you'll have till June 4th to try this one out. Clerks and preacher jobs no longer care about being strong, weak, or proles. Makes perfect sense. Minor jobs do, however. Makes sense. Synth empires can pay only alloy for colony ships like machine empires. Makes sense. Why would you need consumer goods or food or anything else for colony ships once you've ascended? And inward perfection empires can no longer form research agreements or commercial pacts. Well, they're inward perfection. They're isolationists, so that makes sense. All right, so those are the balance. Let's have a quick look here at our performance. Then my god, there's quite a lot of UI stuff, and then AI, and then modding, and then the bugs. Performance. Fixed a case where unneeded VFX were being rendered, causing a gradual game slowdown over time. For those of you who have been encountering quite a lot of game slowdown, this should hopefully improve that ever so slightly. Reduce the delay when there's a big transfer of systems. That's good. Fix the end of year lag when big empires with a lot of pops being assimilated convert them into proper citizens. Faction threading has been improved. Smooth border calculations to reduce stutter. Reordered threaded economics calculation to avoid race conditions of ships depending on... Okay. Interesting. So ships actually depend on planetary resources to a certain extent, because there's quite a lot of modifiers floating around. And they've changed that a little bit, so that'd be better. Fixed a case where every pop would check for faction membership on every daily tick. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. So, every pop, including slaves, which don't have any political power. That's great. So for those of you who don't know, pops actually take up the most performance power in the entire game. So yeah, these calculations have been improved, so your game should hopefully run a little bit smoother, so that's nice. Alright, UI. Corrected, rivalry, blah blah. Let me quickly here browse through these if there's anything interesting here, because overall it's just UI stuff with like fixed spill out text and fractional costs, etc. FTL drive. In all honesty, this doesn't really. This is not really all that important. But if you want to read through all the UI stuff, you can look at the link in the description to the full thing, because overall this is just general UI stuff. It's not really all that interesting. It's like updated corporate dominion, civic tooltip to refer to it as its new post megacorp effect. It's stuff like that. Nobody really cares unless, you know, it's fluff. Sure, the devs put time and effort into it, and it's important that it gets done, but it's not important for this one. You are not interested in this. AI. Cool. Implemented improved AI building selection weights. Thanks to Glavius for your awesome insights. For those of you who don't know who Glavius is, he made a AI mod that vastly improves the game. And the devs have gotten in touch with him to improve it. So that's good. AI will now properly bombard and invade primitive worlds rather than suffering last-minute pangs of conscience about using orbital lasers on people armed with bronze daggers. You can see that this particular part of the patch notes has been written by somebody completely else, because the humor is back, everybody. Okay. AI checks how many outposts before building. AI considers Federation fleets as parts of its own. AI fixed the AI considering Federation fleets part of its own fleet capacity, causing them to drastically neglect their own fleet building. My lord, is that a thing? No wonder Federations had such tiny fleets. Wow, okay. So Federations, AI Federations, will actually be powerful now. That's nice. AI will not build nanite transfusers without nanite income, nor build more than 2 per planet. Nanites are insanely rare. I think they only spawn inside of the L cluster, and even then it's like maybe 2 at max. So yeah, good job on having those building slots being used by nanite transfusers. That's great. Fixed AI fleets getting stuck with redundant attack and defend orders if their target went MIA. That's good, so they no longer get stuck. I believe Marauder fleets had a big issue with that. Sector AI of machine intelligence and ascended empires will no longer build food-producing districts or building useless that actually need food. You know, I'm kind of happy that I'm reading through the AI bit, because there's just weird things in here that are such outliers, and it makes so much sense that the AI is doing all these really weird things, and you're looking at them, it's like, why are they doing it like this? And then you read the patch notes like, oh, I see what the problem is here. So that's good. That's fun. I got a big smile on my face. This is good. I should really use a cam on this one, because oh boy. Oh boy. You can also see my new glasses, by the way. That'd be kind of cool. AI will now consider repairing ruin and branch office buildings. Yeah, it's positive, especially if they're a megacorp. Fix Suda transports don't emergency FTL as soon as they take any damage whatsoever, because D-Day didn't stop when the first landing craft hit a mine. Good. Transports, they do tend to jump out quite quickly, but they do tend to, you know, hang outside of the battlefield for quite some time, so Fix some edge cases where the AI would attempt to build its way out of unemployment with districts and buildings that its pops cannot work in. So robots, if you have too many of them, they can't work in specialist buildings, everybody. Just so you're aware. Slaves can't work in specialist buildings either. If you have specialists, don't build any basic districts, because they'll just be demoted. and it takes time. That's cool. AI prefers city districts over housing buildings a bit more. That's good. Housing buildings, they just use up slots. Although, let's hope this doesn't impact their ability to actually produce any resources. Machine empires will no longer build non-sentient, less efficient robot pops and then unemploy their own citizens. I love the AI patch notes. It's arguably my favorite bit. Except for some of the bug fixes and exploits, but we'll dive into that shortly. That's hilarious. AI will now take more opportunities to repair damaged fleets when... Oh my lord, thank God. That is so good, I don't even... So, for those of you who don't know, if you attack an enemy, then they have the tendency to fight you again, even after, say, like 2 years with that same fleet, and they won't have healed. Now they will. So now you actually need to be a little bit more productive with your own healing as well and refitting, etc. Just because an enemy is destroyed doesn't mean they will come back weak and limping. They will actually repair and refit. So that's good. That's good. Fix AI bug because fleets unassigned to any group not being able to... What? Hold on. Fixed AI bug caused by fleets unassigned to any group not being able to be added to one due to damage. Due to damage? Okay. Just more targets, I guess. That's fine. Fixed AI not bothering to send its war-weary fleets home following a peace agreement. Oh yeah, they tend to sit on the front lines rather than refitting. Modding! Oh my lord, modding. There's gonna be so many good mods coming out of this one with the new Relic system. Oh, I'm so looking forward to this. Cookie to the first person that makes a mod that allows for interaction between different relics. Just saying. You get your 6 relics, do your snap, kill half the population. That's the kind of thing that I want. That's the good stuff right there. Like synergy relics. That's what we want to see. The Arcology system from Ancient Relics is open to modding. Create your own multi-stage event chains. That's good. Bunch of triggers being added. Add relic trigger. Move relic effects. Yeah, that's... Parallel megastructure build upgrade capacity and can now be altered by modifiers. Ooh, interesting. That's modding. If you wanna read the modding stuff, yeah, you can go and you can go to the page and just read them for yourself. Because I'm not a modder myself, and I'm sure most of you aren't either. And this is not interesting to you either. For those of you that are, just jump into the link in the description. Oh boy. Oh boy. The bug fixes. The bug fixes. This is beautiful. All right, you ready? Everybody got the bug fix hats on? Let me go and have a cup of, let me have a quick swig of my tea here. Lubrication of that throat. Don't be like, God, now I forgot his name. The Warhammer 40k guy who ruined his voice by talking too much about the warp. Luthien, I think. Yeah, that's it. Good guy. Go and watch his videos. Anyway, bug fixes. Fixed a case where Praetorian infestors would not infest habitable worlds. I think this has been a consistent thing for quite some time, and it's really annoying. Let's hope it's finally fixed now. Fixed a case where the L-gate chain would get stuck with pointless repeating text to gain insights if another empire had already finished the chain. Yeah, I can open the L-gates, by the way. Yes. Fixed non-functional upgrade all button for defense stations. Migration controls will now actually control migration. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's why that didn't work. Okay. Fixed the case where choosing to fight the worm could spawn another worm. That could also be farmed for rewards. Fixed broken starbase designs for awakened empires that prevented them from expanding. Fixed a host of display and stability issues related to constructing robots from templates rather than the base type. Caravaneers will no longer offer bunk beds and food containers deals to empires that cannot use them. So there are empires, I believe the robot empires, the Caravaneers were like, hey, you want these consumer goods? So you're just literally just standing like, Bro. We're robots. We don't use toasters. Just no. Put in safeguards to prevent every game events depending on contact with another normal empire. Oh, the prince, okay, yeah, from firing before you've made for... I've had this happen, actually. So, there are special events. They're considered political events. And as soon as you've made first contact with another empire, these political events can spawn. For instance, you find a freighter with like 300 minerals on it. You can take it and have a relationship hit with another empire, or you can return it. Or you can find a book and be like, hey, is this your book? And they're like, yeah, this is the last copy of it. Where did you find it? Oh, I found it out in space. That makes no sense. I know. And then you can return it. And there are cases, and I've seen it myself, where these events spawn before you actually make first contact. Yeah, so that can no longer happen. So that's good. Cybernetic pops can now survive on machine worlds. Thank the gods. But they only have like a 20% habitability ratio, so it's not that great, especially considering they've nerfed habitability growth rates. So that's joyous. Fixed organics being assimilated, not being put in the proper job stratum, leading to no assimilation progress at all. Fix the bug where a pop growth penalty is too low due to low habitability. Okay, wait, what? Was not applied? Huh. So you would get normal job pop growth rates. Okay. So that nerfs the pop farming approach. That's a bit of a shame. Okay. Fix certain binary and trinary star systems with planets visually inside of a star. I haven't seen it myself. I've seen pictures of it on the subreddit. It is actually hilarious. And it looks a little bit hot. Fix the bug when state of truce was not force opening borders. Interesting. Okay. So if you have truce, you open the borders automatically. You can send your science ships in and steal their tech and that sort of thing from wreckage, etc. Fix unintended case where borders force open by peace deal that could have trade routes sent through them, creating weirdness like piracy and Gestalt empires. Yeah, that makes sense. Fix Iron Man cloud saves. I very barely. Okay, fix Iron Man cloud saves being overwritten if you play the same empire in separate games. So, my new save game, my new Iron Game save game, I'm playing as the Commonwealth of Man. Why is my other save game gone? Oh no. Yeah, that's safe now. That's fixed now. Fix old with defects, event toolpicks, saying that it would grant you progress on one technology instead of applying it to a random one the player had already available to research. Old with defects is a Caravaneer event, which means that it's part of Megacorp. And basically, after the Caravaneers visit, they can give you a random event where a old wreckage of a ship shows up, and you can salvage it. So, fix the crash on Macintosh when attempting to load a game with the resettlement screen open. So that's a thing. So I'm just gonna reload my game because damn it, I moved the pop to the wrong planet, or I moved the pop from the planet that I wanted to move them to. I've done that. That's good. Fix literally unplayable typos. Yeah, tons of them. Ah, yes. Null void beams no longer wrongly appear outside of the portal event. So, null void beams. They are basically kinetic weapons having... Well, they're not kinetic weapons, but they replace them for quite some time if you get them. They are incredibly good. Good lord, they annihilate shields, and in combination with some laser weapons on your ships, null void beams are beyond powerful. They are so good. And they will no longer show up outside the portal event, because I have seen them pop up inside of tech trees. Which is a little bit weird, but no, that's fixed. Fixed Synthetic Empire is no longer getting a project to stop the ghost signal. Nice. So you will actually get stuff going for that. Fixed volatile vote production for machine empires that are now properly complex jobs with higher priority of pop assignment. Yeah, that makes sense. So basically you can produce volatile modes easier. Added research costs to breathe in, breathe out. That's probably an event or a special project. Added research costs to cracking it open event, and also change it to an engineering project. So cracking it open I believe, is the box with the 3 vials inside of it that can give your species a random... Well, it's not a random trait, but it's one of 3 separate traits depending on what color you pick. It's actually quite good. It got changed in one of the latest patches, I believe, to have unique icons on it and unique modifiers. But yeah, cracking it open, it now costs resources. Fix the case where you couldn't build an outpost in a system with primitive hostile primitives because it counted as enemy territory. Nor could you invade and subjugate them to rectify the situation because you weren't inside your borders. Yes, hostile alien primitives. If you've lost your invasion with them, they'll be hostile to you, especially when they're having bronze daggers pointed at you. You can't build an outpost in their system, because that makes sense. Fix confusing visual issue using manual ship design. We're going to the ship design will automatically show you newly researched components, even if your ship doesn't actually use them. Interesting. Oh, I know what that is. Yeah. Okay, so if you build a ship and you say, hey, I don't want to have jump drive on this, or side jump drive on this, and then you save it, and you go back to the ship designer, it will show that it has these components on it, even though you didn't put them on there, as in the more advanced ones. And that's annoyed me quite a lot, and that's good, so that's been changed. Fixed penalty for going over your starbase cap, only being applied once you were 2 star bases over the limits. Oh, really? So you always had +2 star bases. Well, you got till June 4th to abuse it. So there you go. Mature Galaxy and Advanced Galaxy console commands now work again, so that's good. Fix crash on game save. Thanks for the details, dev team. Yes. Fixed a free alloys exploit with downgrading defense platforms. I was actually planning to do a video on this one, but I decided not to because the devs were in the middle of doing their patching, and they would, or at least the development, and there wouldn't be a patch anytime soon. And I didn't want to kind of open up Pandora's box with this one because it's so incredibly egregious. Basically, what you can do is you can downgrade stations to a lower version of it, and yeah, get free alloys, and then spend those and cancel the upgrade, and then have free alloys. Yeah. Incredibly overpowered. Got till June 4th to use it. Fixed planetary features with blockers that are cleared by an event, but not granting districts until the game is reloaded. I'm sure that's happened to me before. I've never seen it. You can now choose to station military ships at things like wormholes. Oh, that's cool. Even though... okay. Fixed a mysterious Linux crash when colonizing a planet, and the species somehow gets invalidated before finishing. Interesting. I don't play on Linux, so I wouldn't know. Crash fix when invalid leaders are left in country's leader pool. Okay. Fix the low stability warning on game crash. A low stability warning. Oh, stability as in planetary stability. Okay. Because an apparatus of control and repression cannot be relaxed even for an instant. See, the developers know that authoritarianism is, in fact, the way to go. Fix some cases where special projects would get stuck. Never seen it. Fix an uncanny crash with clicking on the FX icons of the UNE when editing the default Empire template because your utopian egalitarian ideas aren't as universal and immutable as you may think. Hippies. What? That is a weird crash. And only for the UNE's template as well. Weird. Added missing piracy suppression modifiers to Caravaneer granted fleets. I did not know that the Caravaneer cruiser had suppression modifiers, but now that I know, I will take a look at them. Fixed weird case where genetically modified subspecies could unintentionally be enslaved with certain ethnic-civic combinations. That does seem like something I would do. Fixed unusually slow perch speed when the Praetorian conquer a primitive world. Man, the Praetorian are really getting it this time around. Failing to preemptively strike the underground civilization as a homicidal race will cause them to invade you rather than just do nothing. That's good. They will invade, by the way, if you're not careful. Fix the crash when giving away systems. Fix the trade window, sometimes going crazy. Never seen that before. Speed Demon will add the red-green traits even if your species is very strong. Adaptive. Thought they would remove those, but I'm not entirely sure. Always go for the green one, by the way. You can get more planets that way. Even though blue is quite good as well. Although I do think it only adds like leader lifespan stuff. I'm not entirely sure. Out of syncs for hot joining. That is multiplayer. Fix the hilarious one where marauders could demand the outrageous tribute sum of 0 resources. Fix the odd factory event, creating incorrect worker strata jobs instead of a drone job for a Gestalt. Oh yeah, I have seen this. Wait, this all of a sudden just have a random pop sitting around on Gestalt Empire worlds, and they're like, "Hi, what's going on?" Ships will no longer use unexplored wormholes when trying to pathfind. That's probably a good idea. Fix the bug where ruined buildings could be downgraded, repairing them, even though it's true that sometimes you have to destroy it in order to create. Interesting. Oh. We could... Interesting. So you could instantly repair your ruined buildings by downgrading them. Interesting. Fixed life seeded, not granting proper Gaia world preference. That's a good one. There were some outlier cases where if you pick life seeded, I believe again on the soul starting one as UNE, and you modified it, you would not get the proper Gaia world preference one. I've had that happen before as well. Change the planet that was not their event, wrongly targeting guaranteeable habitable worlds, nor on Gaia worlds or those with special deposits. I've never seen that event, or maybe I have. I think it's a habitable world or just a general world, and it's like, nope, it doesn't exist. Fix at least one instance of a country resource out of sync. Ecumenopolis preference no longer called AI world preference. There's a Ecumenopolis preference? Really? Huh. Well, I guess you learn something new every day. Crime events no longer fires for non-sapient robots. And also, it waits until the planet has more than 3 pops. Yay! No longer will have any crime pops floating around again on worlds that only have 1 pop on it, because that makes perfect sense. Fix a Mac crash. Slightly misleading text. Randomized empires get their starting planets. Breaking commercial pacts. Negative. Oh, not incurring negative diplomatic modifiers. Fix the mining restoration project failure result, giving a scientist trait to an admiral. England expects every man to do their duty. Did not know that that was a thing, but that is hilarious. Fix machine and hive world terraforming, removing... Oh, good lord, they finally fixed this. Oh, that's so good. So we still have rare deposits on worlds. Fix a wild one where multiple research points consuming special projects could put your research output into the negative, blocking all stations in building construction for some reason because of missing resources. I have done this, and it is hilarious. Fix missing event image. No. Fix the crash when a country gets a trade route and that used to belong to somebody else. Fix planets on a colonization war wrongly generating unrest warnings. I have had this as well. Impose ideology war now properly creates independent allied empire instead of a vassal. Oh man, that's a nerf to ideology war. Well, that sucks. Fix terraforming candidates not being terraformable in Gaia worlds. And of course, as always, lots and lots of general crash, out of syncs, and stability issues. And that wraps up Dev Diary 150, 2.3 Wolfe patch notes, as the Stellaris producer Jamor has so kindly shared with us. My god, this video is almost 45 minutes long, and will be once we hit the post-roll section. But yeah, 2.3 comes out on June 4th, 2019. Oh, what a delight. I'm really looking forward to this one. A lot of good stuff, and Ancient Relics, I think, is going to be one of the better ones. We'll see. But we're going to go wrap this one up here. If you like this video, give it a like. If not, well, dislike button is there as well. Comments below, as always. If you think I'm an idiot, feel free to do so as well, because interactions mean views. Until next time, take good care of yourselves, and as always, each other.